Hello friends, welcome to our channel Simplified CIB. Here is the part third of the surfacing. Here we will discuss about asset reconstruction companies regulation. Any company which is made has to be regulated by some bodies. So which is the body who will regulate ARC is the RBI. This asset reconstruction companies are regulated by RBI. Before going into the deep, I will give you an example. First asset reconstruction company which was introduced in India was ARCIL, Asset Reconstruction Company of India Limited, in the year 2002. Now, in this company, investors were SBI, 20%. Investors were IDBI, 19%. Investors were PNB, 13% they gave. And 10% another some bank gave. And the rest are the small investors. They were the big investors. So banks floated this reconstruction company, and it was taking over the loans and advances from these 5 banks, which were the sponsor banks, to take over the security whom bank has given loan. Now, what are the regulations? On what condition a company can be created? It should have a own fund of rupees 2 crore at the time of registration. When you are registering the company, you should have a 2 crore rupees fund. Now, capital adequacy of minimum 15% of total assets acquired or rupees 100 crore, whichever is less, should be maintained with the company. Suppose in the asset reconstruction company has acquired asset of around 200 crores. So minimum 15% will be around 30 crores. But another condition is the minimum 100 crore it has to maintain. So 100 crore it has to maintain. Suppose it has taken an asset of 1000 crore. Then 15% of that 1000 crore will become 150 crore. So minimum 150 crore or 100 crore it has to maintain compulsorily. Now this asset reconstruction company's license can be cancelled by RBI anytime if it does not perform the function it has been given. Suppose it ceases to carry on the business of acquiring assets. If it doesn't do acquisition of any asset, its license can be cancelled. Second, if it ceases to receive or hold any investment from QIB, these are the QIB, qualified institutional buyers. If any bank or any buyer is not investing in formation of this company or in continuing the business of this company, then cancellation of this ARC can be done. Third is, it fails to comply with the documents of registration, whatever at the time of registration it has been given, whatever the conditions has been prescribed in the time of the registration, if that is not followed, it fails to comply the conditions, then it can be cancelled. Or if it is not following the directive of RBI, this asset reconstruction company's license can be cancelled. But after cancelling the license, it can appeal to whom? To central government. Here is a crux question of this chapter. It is generally asked in JIB. If an ARC, asset reconstruction company's license is cancelled, he can appeal to whom? He can appeal to the central government. Within 30 days, the time frame which has been given to the asset reconstruction company or securitization company to file an appeal is 30 days. Within 30 days of cancellation, it has to file an appeal to the central government. Secondly, if it gets cancelled or if it gets deregistered, it will still be registered if it doesn't pay the investors money or interest. If it is paying full amount of investors money and interest, then it will be deregistered. If it is not paying, it will be still registered despite getting cancelled. So this was all about initial level of how which organization is regulating the ARCs and what are the terms of cancellation. Next we will go to the acquisition of rights of interest of this ARC. Acquisition of right of interest in financial asset. Acquisition of right of interest in financial asset. Acquisition of. Now, how it acquires the right of interest in financial assets? Whether it signs any document or whether it signs any bond in financial asset. Suppose bank has given a loan to a borrower. Now bank is not able to get the repayment from the borrower, and hence it is transferring this asset to Asset Reconstruction Company, ARC. So whether this asset reconstruction company signs any security arrangement or something with the bond, no, it doesn't sign anything. In this statutory provision is given that it can sign a debt bond or debenture. that will be enough for it to acquire the interest. Entire thing for which bank can sue the customer, or bank can get the security of the customer, or bank can enforce rights on the customer, it passes on directly to the asset reconstruction company with a simple bond, debenture bond, in which it promises that after some time it will pay back the principal amount with interest, whatever is the agreed terms and condition. So here is the debenture bond is the condition, in that it will acquire. So every right of a bank is passed to ARC to acquire the asset. Second important thing is that it will issue a security receipt. Once it's get a debt bond, it acquires a financial asset. Then it will issue a security receipt. As I told you earlier, one security receipt will be issued. On the basis of security receipt, he will get funding from QIBs, qualified institutional buyers. I gave you an example that QIBs will invest in that, and then he will make the security as a marketable security. Then it will sell it. Then it will pay the amount of QIB and bank, and it will take its amount. So this is the general functioning of rights. But one more important point is that while transferring the rights to the ARC, bank will transfer all the rights required to gain the financial asset, but bank will not transfer any liabilities. So ARC is having all the rights to secure the financial asset, but it is not having any liabilities of the bank. So this is more important. This question comes forever, that whether ARC is having any liabilities or not, or whether it will take over the liabilities of bank also or not. It will take over the only asset part of the bank, it will not take over the liabilities of the bank. Next topic, we will go to issue of security receipts. Now there is one important topic in between, that securities, how many documents are involved in securities transactions, securitization transactions. Suppose a bank is giving an ARC, so how many documents are involved in this securitization transaction? I will ask you to remember only SODA. This is the short form of the security transaction involved. How many documents? This question comes. Whether it is a 4, and whether in example they will ask whether these parts are involved in that or not. So first one will be offer document. In offer document, it will be clearly mentioned what is the amount of the loan, how much the customer has repaid, how much you have to take over, what is the value of the asset, and all those things in detail will be written in the offer document. Second is the debenture or debt bond. Debenture on condition is there that interest amount on debenture cannot be less than 1.5% bank rate plus 1.5%. Minimum it should be bank rate plus 1.5%. This debenture bond interest rate should be bank rate plus minimum 1.5%. Suppose the bank rate is 8%, then it should be 8 plus 1.5 equal to 9.5%. Minimum interest rate of the bond should be 9.5%. Third is the agreement. Agreement between originator, means the owner of the financial asset or bank, and between the asset reconstruction company, and both is this security receipt. It is in the favor of the qualified institutional buyers or the investor. So these things you have to remember. There are 4 documents involved in securitization transaction. You have to remember through SODA: security receipt, offer document, debenture, and agreement. Next we will move to security receipt. Now earlier I have told you what is security receipt. Security receipt is the amount floated by, or the receipt floated by any asset reconstruction company from investors to invest in that, and later they will make that later they will make it a marketable security, and they will sell it in the market. Security receipts are generally floated. Since its risk is very high, so individuals are debarred to participate in this. Individuals are debarred. Secondly, only QIBs can participate, and separate scheme should be floated for separate part, and separate scheme should be floated for separate financial assets. So this is all about this chapter, part 3. Rest 2 parts we are having, we will finish it, and hope you guys are liking. Please do subscribe our channel and hit the bell button. Thank you.